Hello, good day and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to give you 3 pointers on coping with noisy neighbours. This is something that a lot of people have to cope with, they have to deal with. And I have had more than my fair share of noisy neighbours. I've lived in around 10 different properties and the majority of those have suffered from noisy neighbours. So I've come up with 3 pointers in coping with that. Okay, so pointer number 1 is easy really, acceptance. It's easy to say, not easy to do. But something you can remember is that the noise won't last forever. It won't last forever, nothing does. At some point the neighbours will have to go to sleep or go out or something, and at that point the noise will stop for a while. So accepting that it is what it is, you can't really change it, and to remember that it's not forever. That's the first pointer. It isn't easy to do, but it is possible over time if you practice it. Just remember that it is what it is. People are people and there's not much you can do about it particularly. Pointer number 2 is find something that you can do for yourself that's going to help you with the noise. For example, put some headphones on, plug into a phone or a computer and listen to an audiobook or some music or a podcast or something, just to put that barrier between you and the noise from the neighbours. Just listening to something that you're choosing instead of what they're forcing you to listen to. That's a good thing that I've managed to do over the years. Something in that same point is also you can put those foam ear things in that stop the noise, they stop the noise coming through. They're like foam, you press them together and shove them in your ear and it's like a block. People wear them when they go to sleep, but you can also wear them during the day and that blocks out the noise as well. But particularly listening to something of your choice, music or something, is a good way to cope with that because it's blocking out the noise somewhat. Pointer number 3 is more like some advice, and I will accompany that with a little story about something of my own experience with this. Pointer number 3 is don't act on it unless you absolutely have to. Don't act on it unless you absolutely have to. When my son was about 6, we lived in a maisonette, so we had neighbours at both sides and also above. The neighbours on the left were really nice, really nice, but the neighbours on the right and the neighbours above us were extraordinarily noisy. So noisy, so noisy. And I remember this one particular evening, I think it was a Thursday night, my son had just gone to bed and he had school the next day, and the noise just started from both properties. And I just tried everything, what I've suggested so far. I tried to think, well, okay, it is what it is. But I was worried because he wasn't sleeping and I could hear him turning and shuffling about in bed. Then I tried to block out the noise myself, but then I thought, no, my son can't do that because he's in bed. So I thought, I'm going to go and challenge it. I'm going to go and challenge it. So I went outside, I locked my door, and I went outside to the neighbours on the right. I knocked on their door. I think the noise was so loud from their house that they didn't hear me. So I gave up on that. I went to the property above and banged on their door really loud with my fist. I banged like that. The door opened and there stood 5 big burly men in the doorway. 5 big men. But it was almost like I was so kind of like annoyed that I didn't even care, and I just said, please, can you turn the noise down? I have a child who's trying to sleep. Please turn the music down. He's got school tomorrow and he needs to sleep. And there was just this wall of silence and they just kind of stood there staring at me. And so I just stood there thinking, well, what do I do now? And then one of them mumbled, yeah, all right then, we'll turn it down. And I thought, oh, great. So I just said thank you and walked back to my house. I got into the house. By the time I got into the house, the music had gone very low and it was really a lot quieter. I thought, oh, yes, result, yes, cool. And then 5 minutes later, the music and the noise began 3 times louder than it had been before I went and complained. It was so loud that my son and I ended up sleeping downstairs that day because the noise from them was so bad. So in going to challenge them, it made the situation worse, and it made me quite frightened that they were capable of that, you know. And then when I told people afterwards what I'd done, they told me off and said, anything could have happened to you that night. And so I realised then, and I've never done it before, I've never challenged it since that it will only generally wind that person up, make them annoyed that you've complained that surely they can do what they want in their own house, and they will generally do it worse after that. And that was my lesson. I learned that complaining just makes it worse. It doesn't help anybody, and it certainly didn't help me or my son. So yeah, don't act on it unless you absolutely have to, is the third point. Hopefully you'll get through this and the noise will abate in time and the people might come to the senses of what they're doing. But they're my 3 pointers that I've done over the years. I have accepted it. Only last night, my current neighbours had a really loud party, really loud. And it was very loud. So I just put my headphones on and listened to something on my phone. And then by late last night, midnight-ish, it had all finished. So it does come to an end. We just have to remember that nothing's forever. But I knew I didn't want to go and challenge it because I've learnt not to do that. But each to their own. If that's what you feel you want to do, go ahead, that's fine. But anyway, that's my 3 pointers for coping with noisy neighbours. And that's it for now. So I'm looking forward to the next video. So till then, ta-ra!